people will come.
They're going to have a pretty good show. I'm trying to get I have a friend who does
It's a whole other.
4 people. That's really
Okay,
Let's start.
You want me to? Oh, you're starting.
I'll start. Good morning, everyone. If everybody would come in and have a seat, we will begin this meeting. I think we sort of have already found out that we have a quorum, so that's really good. We can continue this meeting. So before we get started, Elizabeth is going to lead us in an opening prayer.
So before we have our prayer and thank God, I want to thank Nancy Harger, our outgoing senior warden, thank Pat Dunham, our clerk, thank our nominating committee, and the Vestry members for helping us to have this annual meeting, to make it go and to run smoothly. So thank you to them. Let us pray. Almighty and ever-living God, source of all wisdom and understanding, be present with us who take counsel at St. Philip's Episcopal Church for the renewal and mission of your church. Teach us in all things to seek first your honor and glory. Guide us to perceive what is right, and grant us both the courage to pursue it and the grace to accomplish it. Through Jesus Christ our Lord. Amen.
Okay, first of all, my name is Nancy Harger. I'm going to be the outgoing senior warden, but we're going to begin this meeting. I do want to let people know who are on Facebook Live and YouTube. Please make a comment where you can so that your presence can be known and counted. Also, when you vote, you can just put your name and put the 3 people that you're voting for. 3 people that you're voting for, just 3. Through the email. Oh, sorry, the email. And it is St. Philip's Annual Meeting, all together, all lowercase, at gmail.com. Again, St. Philip's Annual Meeting, lowercase, all together, at gmail.com. Now, clipboards have been placed in every pew. Please make sure that your name that you've signed in so that we can have a record of the attendance. I would appreciate that. Written reports from today will be sent out in an email following the meeting or at the beginning of the week. Let's see. Okay, next thing is the introduction of the vestry candidates. Please just stand in place. Once they are announced, this is the time where we are going to applaud them for coming forth, be willing to serve, and so that's when we're going to give them all the praise and glory that they deserve. When the vote is announced, there will be no applause. Our first candidate is Joe Bisher. Stay standing. Jan Melman. Mike Wallace. David Yeager, and Adrian Zabala. Folks, give them a round of applause. Okay, vestry members are in the back and skirting. Please hold up the clipboards. Make sure you've signed your name to them so that they can be collected right now. Craig, I think Carrie just came in and she needs to sign her name. And your wife behind you. And Karen Palmer needs to sign her name. Once you've signed your name on the ballots, we're going to proceed with the vote. We have the ballots. Vestry members have, if you do not have one, raise your hand. Keith Hawk is in the back. Others, Jan Belina will hand you a ballot. If you need pencils, we have pencils. You should find them in your pew. Pass them around, pass them down, back and forth. Again, when you vote, you are voting for 3 people. If there's a ballot with 4 X's or 4 check marks, it will not be counted. 3 people. While everybody is voting, I will let you know that the nominating committee this year has been Paula Benton, Bob Farron, Linda Sheevy, and the 3 outgoing vestry members, Polly Averett, Jan Belina, and myself. They've done an outstanding job, and Bob and Linda and Paula are over in Miller Hall awaiting the votes. Once you vote, if you'll fold it in half, and then the vestry members will come by with baskets and collect your votes, maybe send them towards the middle aisles. Huh? There should be some, yeah, there's plenty. Pardon me? You can. Today is January 22nd. In the back. Hey, Jan, can you bring me up a couple ballots up here, please? Yeah. We have a quorum, so that is terrific. Okay. Have the ballots been picked up? Oh, nope, okay. Baskets. Everybody has given their ballots. Okay, sorry. Take your time. Well, don't take your time, but hurry. We are on a time crunch here. Okay. If the ballots can be taken over to Miller Hall, the counting will begin. Next on the agenda are the reports. First one are the treasurers, and Mary Blair has been elected to speak.
Good morning from your treasurers and the Finance Committee. There are several noteworthy highlights from 2022. First, we made a major change in the way we manage payroll. We joined the diocesan payroll plan, which processes our monthly payroll through ADP. While there is a fee for this service, it provides numerous benefits, such as direct deposit for our employees and the processing of all tax procedures, including withholding and W-2s. This significantly reduces the time once required to do these ourselves. We added Bob Wisniewski to our financial team as our payroll manager, and many thanks to Bob. With the shift to Realm for our parish software, we also moved our contributions platform to this more user-friendly modality. If you give electronically, you have seen this in action. And if you have not already done so, don't forget to close out your recurring gifts for 2022 giving and reset it to point to your 2023 pledge. One other achievement from the Finance Committee and Vestry was the cleanup of dormant funds and the reallocation of balances to new purposes. While many of these were under the purview of the vestry to manage, for others we had to locate the original donors to solicit their input on the transfer of their donation to new missions. There are a few left to accomplish, but we will continue to work towards putting the money from deactivated ministries to new uses. As reported last year at this time, in 2021, we had our first external audit. We received the report in 2022 and are pleased to note that no deficiencies were found in our financial procedures. The diocese allowed us to have an internal review of the 2021 financials, which was also favorable. The 2022 books will have a modified external audit. This will be our new cycle: external audit, internal review, modified external audit. In this way, we ensure that your generous donations are being used as intended and that we are following prudent financial procedures. Before closing, I want to add a kudo to our amazing ECW and the Shop of St. Philip's. When they gave me some of their year-end financial documents for cloud storage, I read the following. For the years that we have complete records, and that's roughly 25 years of the 50 that they've been open, the shop proceeds have provided for some incredible outreach. Over that time span, they have provided $87,000 to outreach outside of Transylvania County. They allocated almost $53,000 to our clergy's discretionary funds. And organizations in our county in that 25-year span received over $1 million. And speaking of amazing outreach, while our Power Up event for Sharing House cost $1,200 for groceries and carryout containers, the donations to Sharing House were over $54,000. I'm sure we all wish our own portfolios had that kind of return on investment. The final item of note is that once again we ended the year with revenue exceeding expenses and expenses below what we anticipated. Our revenues were blessedly boosted by contributions from new members and others donating more than they had pledged. However, now that we are back to full operations, this may not continue to be our norm as we begin spending for our wonderfully reactivated programs. It was, however, a blessing that provided us with funds to augment the projected pledge income for the upcoming 2023 budget. We will be applying some of our 2022 savings to the baseline needed for future capital needs, to the playground fund, and some to the operating budget for the upcoming year. We were also fortunate to already have escrowed funds for some ministries, so the need for budget funding was diminished. 2 of our 3 staff vacancies have been filled and are included in the 2023 budget. Filling the other position is still in progress, but we have set aside the funds necessary for covering this ministry. I will have copies of the budget available for anyone who wishes to peruse the details, and it will also be sent by email. And William, our other treasurer, wanted me to remind you to pick up your statements in the hall after the meeting. It saves us the postage.
Thank you, Mary Blair. We will now hear from our junior warden. I'm raising this because he's tall, Keith Hawk.
Good morning, everyone. With the close of 2022, I'm pleased to share with you my end-of-the-year report for the buildings and grounds here at St. Philip's. I've divided it into 3 parts: people, projects, and plans. So first, the people. Our facilities wouldn't be and couldn't be in the shape they're in without the people behind the scenes who keep our buildings clean, regularly maintained, rooms set up and broken down for different purposes, and systems functioning to make this space habitable. Our 2 staff include Edna Hensley and Angela Patane. Edna serves in the role as facilities manager and has kept our buildings tidy and organized for over 10 years, and Angela, who serves in the role as maintenance coordinator and supervisor, is tasked with prioritizing, coordinating, and executing a multitude of projects throughout our grounds, along with her dependable Tuesday work crew. This year, Margaret Hunt stepped down as our chancellor. We're truly grateful for her expert support for many years, and now we are blessed to have Davis Whitfield Cargile kindly fill her shoes. Our office administrator and Renaissance woman, Jill Stewart, nimbly tends to the many varied responsibilities connecting people, managing all church administrative needs, and so many more tasks she does both fluidly and gracefully. Finally, were it not for the financial support, volunteerism, and commitment of our congregants, none of this would be possible. So thank you for entrusting us with your generosity. Second, the projects. We optimized, troubleshot, and often grumbled about the ADT alarm system with all its nuances, renovated the parlor, transformed and dedicated Priscilla's garden out front, expanded the nursery into the child-proofed downstairs yak kitchen, helped facilitate a makeover of Comporium side of the parking lot, and helped the farmer's market upfit an existing meter down here by our garden to improve that venue for them with additional circuitry for a food truck, live entertainment, or a little bit of both. Third, plans for 2023 include, as Elizabeth mentioned during our service this morning, a playground redo and overhaul, gutter system improvements to capture more water at the eaves and route it to the storm drains, clean, prep, and seal our administrative wing over here, the block wing with a breathable sealer in the hopes of remedying some of our water intrusion problems downstairs, and landscape beautification in the parking lot area and around the surrounding church. From a financial perspective, we were prudent, under budget, and overall good stewards of the church assets. Inflationary pressures gave us grounds for pause, and a few secondary issues were either postponed or tabled altogether. Contracts with our existing service providers were reviewed and updated. Maintenance records were filed away for any necessary troubleshooting or warranty info. Our insurance was deemed adequate, and safety and security procedures are in place. All in all, I'm pleased to share that our buildings and grounds are in good shape, in my opinion, and well maintained by our devoted staff, volunteers, and subcontractors for longevity and preservation. With these people with this people power behind me, anyone could be a junior warden for a year and shine. I'm extremely grateful for them and their work, as we all should be. Thank you.
Thank you, Keith. In December, during No Room at the Inn, one visitor that I spoke to said to me, "I love this. I love this with my whole heart." Imagine my response. Another visitor on that same day said they knew people that went to this church. My response was to invite her to join us. She said, "I'm more of a spiritual person." I told her I understood, and then said, "If you find yourself needing community, come join us." Community and a whole heart. That is what you find here at St. Philip's. Community with people that share their love of Jesus Christ, who also share their love of this community and what St. Philip's means to this community. I think, but I'm partial, there is no better place for community. As far as I love this with my whole heart, I can relate to that as well. This past year, your Vestry has loved St. Philip's with their whole heart. By making these buildings safe, by things that have been repaired, meetings with companies that will fix this or that, offerings to the community, helping our youth minister with her planned activities, and our first vacation Bible school in a long time. Following along as our treasurers make our heads spin with numbers, meals to those in need, finalizing our wedding policies, and seeing them come together with a beautiful wedding of one of our own. And pretty soon, a training to learn about our automatic defibrillators. As you can see, love comes in many forms, and St. Philip's shows its love in many ways. I have had the privilege to serve on this vestry for the past 3 years. When I was asked to serve, did I know that I would be on a discernment committee to choose a rector as well? No. However, that was the task in front of us. We did our jobs, and I believe we did it well. When I was asked if I would be senior warden, well, that took a little thought. Was I qualified? Did I know enough? I didn't know. I thought about my predecessors. Peter McKinney stood up here and asked for more money. We gave more. Ann Bullard told us if we wanted a good hello, we had to have a good goodbye. We said a good goodbye, and we had a great hello. Dennis Bellina taught me that sometimes you have to be willing to make tough calls. Tough calls have been made. And Lynn Adams taught me to be steadfast and to finish well. It has been an honor and it has been a blessing in my life. The work itself has seen me through some rough days. So when you are asked to serve, know this, you will be served as well. Say yes to serving on vestry. Say yes to continuing the work that everyone has done that has come before us. It has been a privilege to serve. Thank you. Okay. We're on a time crunch. We will now have questions and answers. We have time for about 4 questions, hopefully answers. If you can direct your questions to Elizabeth, to Mary Blair, to Keith, or myself. If you stand up and ask your question, Catherine will repeat the question, and then we'll give the people time to answer. we're repeating, oh yeah, we're repeating the questions for you people at Facebook Live and YouTube, so woohoo. Anybody have any questions of any of us? Peggy.
Are there any current estimates on what it will cost to pave the back parking lot?
The question is, are there any current estimates on what it will cost to pave the back parking lot?
There are no current estimates to pave the back parking lot, but I will cheerfully look into that. Who's asking?
Peggy Bridges.
Peggy, all right. I'll get an answer for you. Come again?
She probably speaks for a lot of us.
All right. I'll find out, and I'll let you know.
Susan?
I want to ask a question, but I mainly want to know the best way, the best timing to just offer it to Vestry for discussion. But we had a series of discussions several years ago about pursuing the solar project. And I think probably Avery and some other people were looking into what the Presbyterian Church had done. And should we write to the Vestry and just say, can you put this on a future planning exploration, or what's the best way?
Whew. Okay. This is about a solar, okay. Susan would like to know the best way to approach the vestry about pursuing discussion about a solar project.
We will have a vestry retreat at the beginning of February, and we will discuss it then and get back to you and others who are interested in how we might get a working group together. Write that in the notes.
Anybody else?
Over here?
Richard?
Is there any possibility of a 9 o'clock service?
The question is there any possibility of a 9 o'clock service?
That is another issue that is on, not the 9 o'clock service, but the other issue that's on the vestry's agenda for the coming year is the growth of our 10:30 service and how we want to address growth. Our church growth, expertise says that if you are 80% full, that you are then not welcoming to newcomers, because no one wants to come to a church for the first time and have to squeeze in together. So I think we're about 80% full, so we will be exploring what we need to do to make our worship time as welcoming as we can to new people, as we become fishers of people.
Anybody else? Okay, hearing no more questions, we will go on to the awards. We don't have the results yet.
Mary Blair's going to check.
Okay, so we'll go on to the awards.
This is the best part of the annual meeting that I will redub the annual celebration this year as we give our Philip Award. Woohoo! So first, before I award the Philip Awards, I want to just recognize our staff, many of whom were mentioned during the reports, but Abby is here. Abby Glass, will you stand up? Our Minister for Children, Youth, and Families. I don't see others, but we want to recognize Brittany Seaman, who is our Director of Music Ministry, Angela Patain, who is our Buildings and Grounds Manager, and of course, Edna Hensley, who keeps us all sane. So let's thank all of them. And then, last but not least, Jill Stewart, who is the anchor, the foundation of this parish as our office administrator. So thank you to all those who serve us. So as is my new tradition, I like to present a book of poetry as the Philip Award. And this year, I have chosen to give Mary Oliver's book, collection of poetry called Thirst. And running through all of these poems is this concept, this idea that our desire, our thirst for God awakens us to God's glory in the world, in people, and nature around us. So this year, we will be receiving, our Philip Award recipients will receive that book, and I want to read for you a selection from the first poem in the book called The Messenger. My work is loving the world. Are my boots old? Is my coat torn? Am I no longer young and still not half perfect? Let me keep my mind on what matters, which is my work, which is telling them all over and over how it is that we live forever. Mary Oliver in this poem reminds us that that is our work, sharing with one another and sharing with this world that we are eternal beings with higher purpose and that we're called together to share this work. So the Philip Award is going to select members of our congregation who this year have showed us the way of how it is to spread that message that we live forever. So the first three, and if you'll remember, the Philip Award is divided into two sections. And in the first section, we recognize leaders who have completed or stepped away from a leadership position in the parish. And so this year we are recognizing 3 of those leaders. And I'm going to invite them to come forward, and as they come forward, I will tell you what it is what leadership role they pursued. Nancy Harger, as we know, as our senior warden, Lynn Adams, and I don't know if she is here, but Karen Palmer. Is Karen here? Come forward, Karen. So Nancy Harger, as we already have heard, was our senior warden this year, and Lynn Adams took on a job that she never thought she would take on, which is coordinating the nursery. And she is the reason. If you see children here, thank Lynn Adams. Because several families told me, well, we came to St. Philip's because you had a nursery. So Lynn Adams brought us on the way. Karen Palmer spent, I don't know how long, as the music librarian, and as she called it, the choir mama. So, and she has stepped down this year, but we are so grateful for how you have served. And Nancy Harger, senior warden extraordinary. I just love Nancy because she was the one who accompanied me these first 2 years of being a rector. I'm so grateful. So thank you, Philip Award recipients. Don't fall. So then the other Philip Award area is each year I choose one area of church ministry that has faced extraordinary challenges and opportunities and faced it with alacrity. And this year, as you all know, we have changed and changed again how we worship together. And so I want to thank the liturgy teams of this parish, that they have over and over again, as I came to them and said, well, now we can receive Eucharist by sipping. How are we going to do that? Now we can do this. Now we can do that. They've always met those challenges with just creative ideas, flexibility, and willingness to serve. So we are recognizing the leaders of our liturgy teams, but I want you to know that if you are part of one of those teams, you are being recognized as well. So I'm going to invite forward Steve Womble, Catherine Palmentier, Billy Begg, Dolores Brown, Diane Dyer, Jan Melman and Scott Elliott. These are our leaders of our LEMs, our leaders of our acolytes, our leaders of our readers, our altar guild, our leaders of ushers and welcomers. We are so grateful for the ways that you have led us in this effort. So, Scott Elliott, the Phillip Award. Jan Melman, the Phillip Award. Dolores Brown, the Phillip Award. Diane Dyer is not here. Steve Womble and Catherine Palmentier. You can thank them. Oh, Billy. Oh, your name tag fell off. That's why.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you all so much. All right, well, last but not least, we want to thank our 3 outgoing vestry members. And look at what they received. This is going to make you want to serve on vestry. It is a beautiful piece of art created by Craig Roth. It's a luminary of our tower. See, there's a candle. If we could only turn the lights out, you'd see it glow. And so I want to invite up here Jan Bellina, Polly Averett, and Nancy Harger to receive their tower and to thank them for serving on vestry. These don't have your names on them, so you can come and take your tower, and we will wrap them up. We have wrapping and bag over here for you to take them. Thank you all so much. Actually, just leave them here, and we'll get them afterward. Hadn't thought that part through. All right, I think perhaps, do we have results?
Not yet.
Not yet. Okay, you guys made it hard on them, I guess, all that counting.
Yeah, I think it's because we told everybody that they could vote until 10 o'clock because we didn't know how the timing would go. So they're busy. Let's see, what else can we say?
Anybody have any more questions?
Yeah, any more questions? Anything pop into your head?
We could sing a song.
You can lead them.
Well, I was worried about us getting everything done, but it seems like we have more time than we need.
We did.
Stuart, will you lead us in a song? Carrie, will you lead us in a song?
We can acknowledge Craig Roth. Up. The towers. That's no small event. Pardon me? And Bonnie. Bonnie.
We always
Bonnie has a
acknowledge
new
Bonnie.
title. What's it called? It's called digital, right? Digital minister. All things digital. So I heard somebody say that to her, call her that, and I thought that just fits. That just fits. So anyway, okay, everybody just relax. The votes will be, yes?
What time is it?
It is 9:55. So more votes are coming in.
Yes,
This is
Carrie.
good.
I'm wondering if we could hear what the Tau Ministry is doing, not to put them on the spot, but
Tau Ministry. Is Dawn here?
Dawn is here. I
Dawn,
see
would you
him.
like to give a report? Come up to the microphone, if you will.
And we'll hear about the Tau ministry
Yes.
for those out there.
Well, actually, excuse me, this year has been quite a challenge due to longevity. We've got a number of very dependable people who have worked with us that have reached the point that they just can't continue carrying 16-foot boards and hauling saws and so forth. So our biggest challenge, two challenges this year really. One is kind of restaffing, and we've had several new members that have come on board, and also we're looking to develop some affiliations with organizations such as Habitat. I'm meeting with them, and through your graciousness, we have the money to do what we need to do. They have staff. And so we're looking to jointly, particularly on ramps, the wheelchair ramps that we do, to farm some of that out. Housing Opportunities in Hendersonville also is interested in moving into Transylvania County. And they have funds to not only build a ramp for us, but also to do home repairs that so many of the people that we serve really, really need. Even though that's not our mission, is to go in and fix a roof or do things like that. So we're really excited that we may be able to, with these partnerships, be able to, right now we have an almost 1-year backlog in ramp requests. And it kind of hurts to say, yep, I see what you want, I see what you need, you really need it. Next November, maybe. Yeah. So that's why we've been pushing so hard with these affiliations. And the second challenge we've had in the last couple of years is COVID. Because we, first of all, couldn't go into people's homes because of, the COVID and the lockdown. And then a lot of what we do is word of mouth. And if you're not doing as much, there's not as many words and not as many mouths. So we're building that back up. We've built it back with ramps. There's no question about that. William Begg does most of our installations of grab bars, and I think he would tell you that we're back to where we were. It seems like I'm sending him 2, 3, 4 requests a week to put in grab bars. So that's what we've been doing this year. We have been blessed with unsolicited contributions to where for the last couple of years we have not had to ask our traditional funding sources for contributions because we haven't had as much demand during particularly the first year of COVID. And then I got a check sent in the other day, and I had to go back to, I think it was 2011, to find out who the person was. That's before I took over this job. Just decided to send in, I think it was $100, just because we had served her years ago. So, do you have any questions about Towel?
Hey, Don?
Yes.
For those who don't know, you want to give a quick explanation what the Towel Ministry does?
Yeah, our mission is to, we're limited to Transylvania County, and our mission is to try to help people stay in their homes as long as possible by putting in grab bars, putting in extra handrails or handrails where there aren't any. We build chair platforms, we call them, that raise the chair to make it a lot easier for someone to get out. And so that really makes a difference because they have their favorite easy chair, which is the springs are shot, the foam is shot, and so they can't even get out of the chair sometimes. The worst case we've had, there's a gentleman that just loved his chair, but if he got in it, his wife had to call the EMTs to get him out of it. And so when I went in to look at it, she had turned the chair around in the corner of the room so he couldn't sit in it until she could figure out how to negotiate with him. And so the chair platform took care of that. Plus we do a lot of wheelchair ramps, and we also build what we call walker steps. A lot of people don't need a ramp because a ramp when it's wet can be kind of slippery. And so we'll build, really it's a series of platforms, but it's steps that are as deep as their walker is. so they can put the entire walker on the step and then step up or down to that. It doesn't require as much labor or as much wood and as much space as a wheelchair ramp does. A lot of people wonder about the name of Towel, and I tried to do some historical research in the records that I inherited, and it appears that it was named after the towel that Jesus used to wipe the feet of the apostles, showing that anybody can serve anybody else. A lot of people think it's because we replace towel racks with grab bars, and that does happen, but it's not. That's not where the name came from. Does that do it?
Perfect.
Thank you.
That's great. And before I announce, or before we have our closing statement and from Elizabeth and our final prayer, the class of 2025 for St. Philip's Episcopal Church are Joe Bisher, Jan Melman, and David Yeager. Please.
And I want to announce our senior warden for the coming year will be Catherine Palmentier, and our junior warden for his second year to shine is Keith Hawk. Please don't forget that your written reports of all of the church officers, as well as my report, that is the sermon in the service, as well as a copy of the budget, will be sent to you by email in the coming week. And if you do not use email and would like a paper copy, just let the office know and we will make sure that you get a paper copy. So let us now go in peace to love and serve the Lord. Thanks be to God.
Thank you all very much.
If we need it. Always learn something.